Oh, do you know how hard it is to do a video when you've not done one for so long? And like for me, when I start to get similar thoughts swirling around in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to get this out. I'm supposed to write it. I'm supposed to put it in a video. Because otherwise it just keeps on going and I have to action the things that come in. They'll just keep coming until I do them. And that's literally how I've created everything that I've done, because things have just swirled enough that I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And with videos, it's like a build up. And I found, obviously with the half marathon last weekend, like, we need to discuss that. I've had a lot of questions. I've had a lot of messages. And I did that poll of like, did you want a video? I actually, like when I was doing the marathon, half marathon, only half. It's just me. I love documenting stuff. And I was just pulling out my phone and being like, oh my gosh, this is this. And this is what's happening in this K. And this is what I'm up to. And it's always for me. Like, it's always to be like, Tish, you're doing the thing that you said you would do. And I just, so often when I take these videos or do these things and take photos, I'm thinking of like the 80, 90, 100-year-old version of me looking back at stuff, being like, fuck yeah, we did that. That's cool. And I just want to keep doing these things for myself. But as with my journey on social media, I've shared a lot of it. And yeah, I tried to like force a video out of myself on Monday, right before I picked Esme up. But the thing is, like, when I have Esme, it's just full noise. The moment she wakes up till after she goes to bed, because she goes to bed, then I get back up, I clean the house up, I set it up for the next day, get like a moment to myself to reply to some messages, and then I'm just in bed, often woken up multiple times in the night. Esme's sleep talking is so funny at the moment. And then, yeah, we just wake up whenever. And I am super active with Esme. Like, when I have her, it's just all go. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, it's beautiful. It's absolutely my purpose, and it's super fun. But then when I don't have her, I need like deep recharge. And I forget, because I think when your nervous system gets like switched on and on and on, and you start to move faster and faster, like that becomes your new normal. Unless I actively put the time aside when Esme goes to actually go and be with myself, I'm still in that sort of like really high functioning mode. And that's obviously what a lot of parents just have to stay in, because such is life. And the weird gift of co-parenting, is that I just get to have silence some days. And that was so hard. When it first happened, like beginning of last year, to go from living in an intergenerational home with constant humans, constant interaction, constant Esme, to suddenly waking up one day to silence, my daughter not even being near me for the first time, and all the other people in the house, and just to be by myself. And it was such a gift. Like, I had a total like cut of one life, and then I just had to figure out what the new life was. So I talk about it and I'm like, it's amazing, and I'm so grateful, because I obviously needed it. Like, I obviously wasn't creating the right life back then. But people say to me, you look like you're really enjoying co-parenting. It's like, I'm making the most of it. I am making the most of the situation that I have been given, because that's all we can ever do. So yeah, when I do talk about the solitude and the downtime that I get, I know that is a privilege for a lot of parents. We each have our own path that we came here to do, and no path is right or wrong, and it's just we're all on it, and hopefully we're making the most of the path that we've got. Which brings me to the half marathon. So I think my last video was like, 5 weeks ago, when I had the message from my friend who was wanting to do this half marathon again and wanted me to come support, but she's just like, you love to do hard things, why not do it? I'm like, yep, life is hard, I'm doing it. But then I sat with it, and what nobody else knows is I always play games with the universe. I always play games with like creation and what I can make happen. And so the night that it dropped in that I was like, oh yeah, I'll run the half marathon, it was also because this other thing was going to happen. And I sort of, when I go for something or decide I'm going to do something, it's the feeling of the thing that I tune into. And so with this marathon and this other thing that I thought would happen, it's not even that vision was totally clear. I just made the feeling of accomplishment and like I had done the thing mean both of these things, if you're following along. And then I hadn't factored in injury. I hadn't factored in that my hips just wouldn't be able to run. Like I said on the other video, I just assume like when I want to do something, I can do it. You know, I keep a pretty good base level of fitness and I eat really well and I sleep well when I can. I do yoga most days and walk and squats and all that sort of stuff. So I was just like, sure, I can go run. You know, it's just a mental game. But then my hips were so bad. And I thought, well, and the other thing wasn't happening also. And I'm like, well, maybe none of this is happening. And I went and I saw my friend who's has a running store, has an elite runner. I don't know, are you a running coach? If you don't watch this. But I went and ran and I couldn't run more than 200 meters without getting like a stabbing pain in my hip. And he just sort of said, look, I don't think that this is a good idea. You know, you should go to the physio. Why don't we do some MRIs? I remembered now with all these hip pains, and I spoke to my mum about it. It's like, oh, that's right. As like an adolescent, I grew really tall, and then I like had all these issues with my hips, and like they would sort of click out and pop out, and like my shoulder, I can pop it in and out. Everything's really like overextendable, like when I hyperextendable, I think that's the word. Like when I do yoga, I've got to really hold my legs in a slight bend, otherwise my knees will just sort of go backwards. And I had forgotten about this until I started this running journey. And so everybody around me was just sort of like, this isn't a good idea. You need to do some strength training, which makes sense. Like I needed to do some strength training to hold my own joints and hold my body up rather than just sort of like the passive walking that I had been doing. Even though I carry Esme a lot, like I piggyback her. So I was like, I've got so much extra weight on these joints. Anyway, so I came out of that appointment 5 weeks ago and I was like, all right, well, it's not worth permanently or like doing a deep physical damage to my body just to do this run. Like it's not that big a deal. I don't have to do the run. And so I went and I found a hyperbaric chamber. Oh my goodness. I went and found a hyperbaric chamber, which is just, you might have seen it on my stories, like it's this oxygen tank that you climb into and then you get zipped up and it goes to sort of like cabin pressure as if you're flying, and then you have oxygen going through your nose and it just really over oxygenates your body so that you can heal really quickly. Because I was still like, well, I'll just heal really fast and then I'll do this run, because I had so felt the feeling that I had done the run. So I was like, surely I'm going to do this, but my body is showing me otherwise. And you know, it's a proven thing now that you can think that you're working out and imagine that you're working out and your muscles will grow just as much as if you go to the gym. And I just saw yesterday that like talking nicely to your body is even more beneficial than going to the gym. And I was thinking this morning, like with all my plants and stuff, and I know lots of people are crazy plant people, and it's like if you're talking to your plants, which has been proven, I've heard of this in the plant world, like talk to your plants, they'll grow better, they'll flourish. If you're talking to your plants and you're not talking to yourself nicely, like what are you doing? We are the same. We're even smarter than plants. It's like I talk to myself really nicely. I really value my body. And like I was talking to a friend yesterday, it's like the more you do the good things for your body, the more your body trusts you, the more you stick to your own word, and the more you do what you said you were going to do, eat healthy. Your body, you build trust with yourself and you're able to accomplish goals faster and faster because you're in a state of trust and flow and proof that you're looking after yourself. And so then it got to like 2 weeks out from the race, the Queenstown Half Marathon, and I was like, you know what, I'm pain-free. I think that I'm going to be all right. And I've been using ChatGPT the whole time. Pretty much I realized this morning it's been about a year and a half that I've been like deeply using ChatGPT. I feel like I'm admitting an addiction or something. This is so funny. And when used in the right way, it's a really smart tool. And for me, like I've been using it for nutrition support, as a running coach, if I need any support with Esme, you know, solo parent. It's like it's valuable having other support around you that you trust, and you can build AI to support you with your values and your beliefs, which may be an echo chamber. That might not be that great, but anyway, it's good to have humans in your life also. So I had said to ChatGPT when I came back from the running store about I shouldn't do this and my hips are so bad and like it doesn't look like this is happening. How can I recover from the hip pain quickly? And ChatGPT said to me, like, don't do me time, because when I do me time, which is like got yoga at the end, yin yoga, deep stretching, I'm actually stretching my muscles too much. And I just clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, I do me time every day. I do breath work, tapping, somatic release, yin yoga, meditation. That's what I do, and that's what I had been doing before I had gone for my couple of training runs. And so not only had I remembered that I'm like hypermobile and I'm really loose in my joints, but I was also overstretching my muscles and then going for a run. And I said this to my friend, and the other running friend was like, oh, well, you know, if yoga is your mental health support, it was better to drop the marathon than to drop yoga. Like I couldn't ever tell someone to stop doing something that's supporting them. But because I came to it myself and it was my own internal like, oh, wow, okay, maybe if I don't overstretch my muscles, I can run. Like I do have a really good running base. And I continued on with my walking. I continued on with visualization. I continued on with doing acupuncture and energy work in the chamber. And then it was a week out to this run and still the other thing hadn't happened. And I'm just like, man, like what's going on? I got such a deep vision that I was going to finish this race and also have all this other stuff happening. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go do one more training run and then I'm going to do the half marathon if I feel good, if I don't have any pain. And I went out that night and I went to a static dance, which is just like a sober dance party on cacao. Everyone's wild, like nobody cares. Everyone's just dancing however they want. There's no talking. Like you could hug someone that you know if you wanted to, but you don't really interact with other people. You're just with yourself and dancing. And it's a super cool, non-judgmental, like incredible environment. And I was just having the time of my life dancing away. And at one point I jumped up and I landed on one leg and my hip just popped out. And it was so painful, I could barely keep dancing. And I was like, shit, I was supposed to do a training run tomorrow and then run this half marathon on the weekend. And I spoke to my friends, I was like, man, my body's just really telling me not to do this run. Like, I can't even go and dance without my hip being bad. But I'd obviously, like, they were getting worn down from the training that I was doing and the overstretching. So I continued on with my week, and everybody that I spoke to was just like, don't be silly, don't injure your body, like a half marathon is huge. But I just kept on remembering the feeling that I had that I was going to finish it. And I'm like, but I know it's happening, I just don't quite know how. And so I still showed up to Queenstown and my best friend was down there. And she's the only other, like, not the only other, I've got a lot of delusional people in my life, which I love. She's delusional in the running world. And she was just like, Tish, you're fine. You've got such a strong base. You're going to be good. It's just a run. And the thing is, she sent me a podcast, Game Changers. She sent me a podcast right at the beginning of time, 6 weeks ago, when we just started talking about running. And it was this lady talking about the run-walk strategy and how you don't have to like run the whole marathon or half marathon, and you can actually finish feeling good. You don't have to finish like vomiting into your hands and not being able to walk, and you can still do it in a really good time. You see what your fitness level is, and maybe you run 1 minute, walk 1 minute, run 2, 3, 4, 5. So I figured out my best strategy was if I ran 4 minutes and walked 1 minute, because I'd easily done 4 30-minute runs feeling great. Like it was just on the 5th run, which was about 3 weeks in, which this friend now says it's about 3 weeks that your body will tell you if you don't have the mechanics to like hold it, if you've not built up the strength and your body doesn't trust you enough to know what it's doing. And it was the 3-week mark where my hips just gave out. And so I was like, but I did a full hour run then. I was easily able, I was like fit and capable to do the hour run. My hips just gave out. So I'm like, of course I can do 2 or 3 hour run by doing 4 minutes on, 1 minute off. And my body will recover in that 1 minute and then I'll run again. And so I had that in my mind. And I listened to that podcast again on the way down to Queenstown. So I drove, it was about 7 hours. And I listened to that podcast and I was like, yep, run, walk. You know, I don't need to have ego. I don't need to run the whole time. Who cares if I'm walking? Like, I'm doing a half marathon. Like, apparently less than 1% of the world do a half marathon, which I can see the amount of fear around it. And that's the thing, when you're doing anything in life and you share it with someone, you are then getting their projected fear on you with whatever it is. Really, really prolific in motherhood. But turns out also in the running world. And people will project their fears of their own limitations and their beliefs that they have on themselves on you. And if you're like an open, receptive person who cares about what other people think, and I've had to learn to really surround myself with the right people. Like, my whole sense of safety, my base foundations of trust in the people around me has had to get super tight. Because you become the average of the 5 people you're around. And I remember that so clearly in business, but I had such a separate business life to personal life. And it's in all areas of your life. Like, are you around people that you want to be like? Do you like their values and their morals? Because this is the thing, like, with Esme's dad, he's an amazing person and we co-parent really, really well now. But we just have 2 totally different ways of being. And I nearly completely lost myself to a way of being that wasn't mine. And that's what we do. We become who we surround ourselves with. And that's based on your programming and your conditioning and what you believe you're worthy of. And how much you shrink yourself to fit in. It's like, if you know you're shrinking yourself to fit in a space. I mean, I did it for so long. Like, it's only because I'm actively learning out the other side at the moment. But you're never going to get the life of your dreams and of the visions that you hold. And it's, sorry, such a tangent, but you guys know me. I've had the gift of losing people around me, really close people. They're dying unexpectedly. And it's such a gift when you can really tightly hold how quickly life can be over. Like, I did the whole half marathon in my auntie's thermal that passed away from breast cancer, because one of the last things that she said to me, like in one of the last photos I have with her, she's wearing this top. She's just like, Tish, all that you need to have is your health. Without that, what's the point? What's the point in having all the money, having all the material goods? You can't bring that with you. All you need to focus on is your health. And I just remember running that the whole time, looking at this top. I had another top on that said, you can, and on the back it said, if you can, you must, which my beautiful friend Katie gave me. She's amazing. And I had people like running up behind me being like, oh my gosh, I love your top, or like taking photos, or being like, oh, I saw you at the beginning, and they're catching up to me at the end. And people were like so motivated by this, and it was motivating me, like I was picking up on their energy also. So it's pretty much just like a running billboard, which is great because that's me in my element for sure. But anyway, I got to Queenstown, listened to that podcast, Run, Walk, and in the podcast as well, she said about how, like, you're not obviously, some people don't know, but the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet have got so many receptors on them. Like, you can absorb so much through them, and like the amount of pathways and meridians through your body that connect in with your hands and your feet. Like, I go to acupuncture and I'll have an issue, I don't know, in my wrist, and she's doing a point on my foot or on my calf muscle because it's all connected. And she said at the base of your toes, as you go from your toes to your feet, this bit here has got so many points that if you just, when you're brushing your teeth in the morning and in the night, so 2 minutes a day, just going like this on the floor between your toes and the soles of your feet, you're switching on so much of your body, so much of your balance, so much of how you hold yourself. And I heard this at the beginning of the drive. So you best believe that for nearly 7 hours, I was driving down with my feet on the pedals, barefoot, turning on the neurons at the bottom of my feet, which I tuned into a lot the next day when I was running. I was like, come on, Tish, like, you got this. Your whole feet are turned on. You just did this thing for 6 hours and you only need to do 2 minutes a day. Like, you're killing it. And it's like the pep talks that you need to give yourself. And I also listened to a podcast of somebody like supporting the New York Marathon and like the final finishes at the marathon that'll be running all day, and maybe they've learnt to walk again or gone through cancer or just never thought that they could do something like this, and they have like a special squad of people at the end to welcome in the final finishes. And I was just bawling my eyes out on the drive, being like, man, humans are amazing and we're so capable and we can do so much. And it's just because I'm a feeling person. If I deeply feel something, I can do it, you know, like, and I was tuning into the possibility and yeah, just that anyone can do anything, which was great, because then I showed up to my other really amazing best friend, Shan, who's just like, Tish, it's just a run, and you don't have to run at all. It's a run walk, like, it's not a big deal. And I found myself sort of defending my body and being like, it's just not worth it. Like, my hips are really ruined, and I couldn't even dance last week, and I jumped and it popped out, and she's just like, you can do it. And I was like, man, am I outsourcing my intuition right now, or should I trust? Because like I said, I'm trusting things that are coming outside of me from people that I do value their opinions. And with Shan, let me tell you, I would not be who I am today without her. I don't know if she watches my videos, but love you if you do. Back when I was in the corporate world, I was a product software specialist, marketing manager for Massey University, a company owned by them. And I was up in Palmerston North, and $90,000 salary, company car, you know, doing the thing that I was supposed to do in life and get the job and work 9 to 5 and like work towards getting a house, you know, all that good stuff. And that's when I found the nutrition that I started doing and losing weight and being like, oh wow, you know, like I could go start a community around fitness and nutrition and like really support people and be like one-to-one with people and pump people up and like really improve people's life, like their value of life, their state of being, you know, like that's so exciting. And I was living between Palmerston North and at Shan's house in Greytown at the time. And here she was just starting up this incredible school. She's amazing. And just really following her dreams and passions. Again, it's so important who you surround yourself with. And I just was so unhappy in this job. I was getting hit on by one boss and another one was bullying me. And I'm just like, again, I could die at any point. I could be gone tomorrow and I'm spending my final time working a job just because I feel like I'm supposed to, because this is what everyone else is doing. Like, I don't want this. And so I quit. And the guy before me that had quit in the same position, because their retention rates were very low because it was not a good place to work. When he quit, he just didn't come into the office for the month. He gave his month's notice and we just didn't see him again. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to quit. I'm not going to go in. And I set up to do my first like trial boot camp up in Greytown. And I had my first 10 people that believed in me. And it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m., 6 p.m. I think it was for 3 weeks that I did it for. And I did all the marketing, I dropped the flyers, my friend knew lots of people, and I had all these people sign up, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm starting a business, this is wild. But when I handed in my resignation, the company came back and said, we want you in the office every day in Palmerston North. And I had set this boot camp up 3 hours away from Palmerston North. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'll just have to shut down the boot camp, like that's fine, and I'll do this. And my friend was like, no, these people are your future. They believe in you. You have a business vision. That company is your past. You're going to leave. They're going to replace you. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how you are in this last month, which is wild to me now, and to her. We spoke about it in the weekend. But it's true. Like, my loyalty was to myself and my future vision. And so if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have then continued with the boot camp, done the 6 a.m. sessions, driven, showed up to work late in fitness gear when I'd been wearing like business attire, and just doing the bare minimum for a month. Like I did what I had to do. I just wasn't on time and I would leave early and come late. And it was so hard to hold. Like, I am a long time people pleaser, long time goody good. Like, it was so hard to hold, feeling like I was letting people down, but they were my past, not my future. And so if it wasn't for her in that moment, I wouldn't have started everything else that I've done. And so here I am in Queenstown last weekend, and she's just like, you can do it. You can do a half marathon. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, I did a 40-hour fast earlier in the week, which again, I'm building trust with my body. I'm looking after myself. And me from last year, hearing a 24-hour fast, I could not comprehend living like that and not having food in 24 hours. Like, that blew my mind. And now I can easily hold a 3-day fast. Like, all I've been doing is extending my capacity to hold more. And that's all we ever really need to do. And so I did a 40-hour fast because I didn't know if I was actually going to run. So I was like, well, I'll just stick to my monthly schedule of looking after myself. And I showed up to Queenstown, super chill, just going for a run, not a big deal. Like, this is all good. People in my life being like, Tish, it was 10 years ago that you biked across Australia. You're way older now. Like, you can't do this sort of like crazy stuff anymore. So I'm like, why not? But then in the morning of the half marathon, I woke up at 4 a.m. in a puddle of sweat, literal puddle of sweat, freaking out. I had just come out of a dream where I had finished last out of the whole Queenstown half marathon. There were 13,000 people registered between the 10K, 21 and 42. And I think because I've been listening to that podcast of the final finishes the day before, which inspired me and motivated me. And now what I realized, the gift of this half marathon was to continue to annihilate my ego of doing things and having to be the best. Because when I decide to do something and I commit to it, I have this pressure that I'm like, right, well, now you have to win. Now you have to get these top business things. Like, if someone else is doing it, you can do it. And I'm in a different stage in my life. Like, right now, my daughter comes first. A calm nervous system comes first. Being present comes first. And I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not a runner. I'm about to ruin my body. Someone talked about like hip replacements if I did it, and I was going to be in so much pain. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm in a hotel room with my friend in the dark, not wanting to wake her up. And I woke up starving because I hadn't eaten enough the day before because I'd been driving down. I was dehydrated, which I never am, but the traffic was crazy and I didn't want to stop on the road. And I was like, oh no, I'm going into this dehydrated and hungry. So I sat in the dark eating these like oats and seeds and stuff that I'd already done, eating a banana, drinking like 1.5 litres of water just straight away. I just, with lots of electrolytes, creatine. I was like, I need to sort my foundations out right now. This is insane. I can't go into this like feeling so shaky. And I opened up my phone. I went on ChatGPT and I was like, chat, I've really fucked up. I'm in Queenstown. I've woken up. I'm supposed to be doing the half marathon today. I'm going to ruin my body. I'm not as fit as I used to be. I'm going to come last. Like, and ChatGPT was just like, do you have any pain in your body? And I was like, no. And it was like, this is normal. It's a pre-marathon. You're in fear. I was like, I'll just do the 10K. And it's like, if you drop to the 10K, you're in fear. There's no reason for you not to stick to your run walk strategy. I was like, far out. And then I messaged my running friend and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. And he's like, what's your fear? And I was like, I'm going to come last. And he was like, that's valid, but it doesn't mean anything. I love the male logic. It made me so happy. I just was like, no, give me some emotional support. Which he did. He screenshot my message and sent it to his wife. And his wife sent me a very beautiful emotional support message and videos of people finishing. And so I got the logic, I got the emotional support. Then my friend woke up and I was like, Shan, I'm just going to do the 10K. It's not worth stuffing my body up. And she just got up and she's like, shut up, we're just going for a run. Like, went and had a shower. And that was perfect. I got logic, I got emotion, and I got get over yourself. And I don't have to be the best. Like, it came through my mind about a week before the half marathon. I was like, oh, maybe if I raise money for charity, I'll do the run. Because it's not like, you always do more for someone else than what you do for yourself. And I was like, okay, cool, what charity should I do? I'll post it, I'll get a bunch of donations, and then I just have to do the run because people have paid me to do it. And I caught myself, I'm like, if I'm not doing it because I think I'm going to get injured, why is it worth raising money for a charity to injure myself? Why will that make it okay? And I was like, man. And again, I've never done anything for myself, ever. It's always for something else, someone else, a greater cause. Like, even when I started doing the sound bowls last year, like, I literally started and I started serving straight away. And it was beautiful and people love it and I love it. I got so much from it. But pulling back and just playing crystal sound bowls for myself has just been so beautiful. And like, I treat myself to that instead of just making it like a service instantly. And so with the half marathon, just doing it for myself, because I had the vision that I finished it. Like, I knew, when you get visions, all right, when you get an idea for a future, or you see something ahead of yourself, you're only seeing it because it's already happening. This is gonna get woo-woo. There's so many different plans of reality, and you can literally choose to be on whichever one you want at any time. You have to embody that person. And you can't just think your way there. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to meditate and om and love and light and I'm achieving all my goals. You've got to get them and then you've got to take action. There's no way that I was going to finish a half marathon and have that feeling of finishing if I didn't do it. Like, I was sitting there in the morning and like, I've seen that I've done this, so let's just go and do it. Like, there's no way that I can achieve this without the action of going and doing it. So I got on the bus, and honestly, one of the hardest things of the whole day for that marathon, half marathon, was that I had preloaded so much water and so much food. And then there was so much traffic and so many people, and we were in the bus that was supposed to take like 10 minutes, and the whole process, I think, we got there at 6:45. We didn't get to the actual site to start until 8:15. An hour and a half, I was in the bus in pain, eyeing up my friend's empty coffee cup, being like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to have to pee in a cup on a bus full of proper runners that are all going to beat you. I just sat there and I was like, okay, I've got this. And then like had to walk to the portaloos when we got to the beginning because running was so painful. That was the hardest, to be honest, to get that out of the way. And then like the first couple of Ks, you're just with a huge group of all abilities, all ages, all sizes, just all these people, lots of people walking, running. And I feel like in hindsight, like as a kid, when you run a race, you're all in a line. There's 8 of you lined up, mark, set, get set, go, and you're boosting it. And it's so obvious if you're last, and you just feel crap. And I had that a lot when I was a little kid, and everyone else is ahead of you, and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel good, and people are watching. 13,000 people for this marathon, half marathon. You have a GPS on your bib, and just whenever you go through the start is when that begins. And people were arriving way later and way earlier to the marathon, and the full marathon runners were started after us. So you'd sometimes have really fast people going past, or you would like it actually just didn't matter. Like, and as soon as I was there, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to come last. And who cares if you do? You're doing the hard thing that so many people don't do. Like, my friend messaged me. She's like, Tish, you're out there doing it. I'm just at home doing nothing. Like, you're already ahead of the game. Like, this is amazing. And because my hips were giving out, I didn't remember. So did I tell you? So I realized with the me time. So I haven't done my full practice for about 5 weeks. This morning's the first time that I have done my full meditation, tapping, yin yoga, everything in 6 weeks. So I can see how my friend, the running coach, was like, it's, we don't want to stop that because that's your mental health. But I had to stop that to be able to run. And it was such a gift to get to be with myself this morning. And obviously now I can jump back on and do a video. Like, I can't rush the process of sharing because I have to integrate the lessons first and really like understand what's unfolded. And so, just going for the run at the beginning, and I just walked from the beginning, like before I needed to. And luckily I'm really tall. My legs are really long. So like my power walk's pretty good. And I had some pretty good speed, and Luckily, my hips were totally fine because I hadn't overstretched them. I rolled my ankle at about 5Ks, which wasn't ideal, because I was going to go into a walk. And like you have to sort of gear down when you're really running, and it's like a trail with gravel and a little bit downhill. Like I had to like really focus on slowing down to go into a safe walk without hurting my body. But Sean had been like, whenever you see a camera, you have to be running, and they have cameras down the track. And as I was trying to slow myself down to walk, I looked up and there was a person with like the professional camera, and I was like, oh, I have to run. And so I went to go again, and that's when I rolled my ankle. I was like, you idiot. Instant karma. And then when we went to the Portaloos at like 8Ks, oh my gosh, just pausing for a moment to go to the bathroom, my whole body seized, and I was like, all right, we can't stop. Power walk, run, no stopping. Lots of water, lots of like refreshment and gels and all that sort of stuff. And so the day before at registration, we were going through and people all there buying their gels, and I said to the lady, I was like, oh, you know, which flavor, and is it okay that I've not tried these before? And she was like, oh, we shouldn't, like, we don't recommend trying anything new on race day. And I was like, oh, it's all new. Like, I've not done any of this, so it's fine. And she was like, oh my God. And so I had one gel over the whole 2.5 hours, and just sipped it slowly and had lots of water, because apparently like it really speeds up your metabolism, and I did not want to be doing people poo themselves apparently. So that was a big fear. And after, like, I'd never run longer than 9Ks before, and it was about that point that I sort of just went numb, and you just sort of carry on, and you get to the point where you just have to keep running. And people were messaging me, giving me little pep talks. And because I'm so used to being in silence, like I didn't have my headphones on, which made me be able to really interact with other people and hear other people when they're pumped about my top, and, you know, just be with nature. And yeah, like I said, the palms of your hands, soles of your feet, super powerful. Like, you can understand, I just clicked, like, you can understand why praying, like, is so powerful. You're connecting completely with yourself. But that's what I love when I'm around nature, and obviously barefoot. But we were going through a forest at one point, so I was just like high-fiving trees. I cringe because me from 5 years ago would just be horrified with the woo-woo stuff that I share now, but I always share what's working for me. And it's, again, proven science, being in forest bathing, and then grounding into the earth's frequency, like it supports you. It's when we come from nature, we're supposed to be in nature, we're supposed to be with that. So yeah, I was high-fiving trees. Another crunchy subject is microdosing, which I've been doing for many, many, many years now. And I know a lot of people who do it, but people don't speak about it. And it's like how, you know, already in universities, they're studying here in New Zealand, and it's legal in other countries, like the support on mental health with microdosing, and being able to, you know, make new neural pathways in your brain and clear through past traumas and stuff. And I had watched a video of a guy who was doing like extreme mountaineering, and he couldn't really carry any food, and he was trying to get to one of the top peaks. And he just really casually was like, yeah, I just microdosed every hour. And it just gives you, like, to me, when I was on Ritalin prescribed for a year, I get a similar effect from microdosing, of just like a clear connection and a bit of energy. And I just remembered that. So then coming in to the half marathon, I was like, well, I'll just microdose every hour. And so I had that in my pocket, and oh my gosh, let me tell you, when I got to the buses to pick us up and somebody had a dog there, I panicked. I like had this flash in my mind of like the newspaper heading, solo mum with drugs at a marathon. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was just somebody had brought their dog to the marathon. Like, it was just so fascinating. That's like, we're just, yeah, anyway, I won't go on about that. But yeah, so that was really, really beneficial. And then just making it over the line and just remembering that nothing is ever guaranteed. We have to take action to get there. And now in reflection, the thing that I thought that was going to happen when I finished the half marathon, like at the same time, it still might happen. It just, when I tuned into the feeling of the completion, I did it. It happened. It just didn't have all of the components. And this is the thing, when you've got the idea or the vision or the feeling, how it happens doesn't actually matter. And our human minds often can't comprehend how things happen. You sort of just have to continue showing up with presence and joy and like calmness to let life flow how it's supposed to flow. And the half marathon is just like this tiny part of my whole journey of life, which I am walking on. That's my strategy, not that I knew. We're not supposed to be constantly switched on and constantly running, and that's what I was doing for like most of my life up until the beginning of last year. My nervous system was fried because of all the pressure and the self-imposed, like I have to do this at this time and this has to look this certain way. And the gift of finishing this half marathon and just realizing like life is the marathon. We should be running the whole thing, giving ourselves rest time, looking after our body, eating healthy. Like, it blows my mind when people see fitness people and hear of top sports teams who sit there and visualize winning the game or all the plays that they'll do. And they're like, wow, like, did you hear that the All Blacks do this now? And they've got this mental health support coach that does this now. And everyone's like, that's so cool. But people don't go off and do it. But it's because it's so easy not to do. We're not trained to do it. Even being in nature and silence, like sometimes I have to bring my headphones with me just to get me out of the house. And then as soon as I'm in nature, I'm like, that's right, I don't need this. I don't need constant distraction. And that's the gift of not doing screens with Esme. Like, you have to be creative to keep a toddler entertained without a screen, which to me is just being in nature. And we've all got toddler brains. Depending on what stages of our life we learnt different things or had different programming, so often when people are triggered, we're just triggered back into like the age of our brain we got stuck at. So if we can be actively doing the work and revisiting those past selves and up-leveling our programming and our conditioning and our self-worth, it's like literally anyone. As soon as I finished the half marathon, which is what my friend said to me, she's like, anybody can do this. Just, it's your self-imposed, like not wanting to come last, the ego wanting to prove itself. It's like, just go and do things and enjoy them and be proud of yourself for doing it. It doesn't have to have this certain outcome, which is such a hard space to hold yourself in, honestly. But yes, I feel like, man, I have really rambled. I gave myself the gift of not making myself do this video in 15 minutes. I've been sticking to Instagram. I had the nudge to start a YouTube channel at the beginning of last year. But again, with that nudge came a lot of pressure on myself. And I looked at how other people were doing YouTube, and it was all these like daily posts or at least every other day. And, you know, there was like constant check-ins. And because I don't have the energy to do a video every day or the desire to do a video every day, I felt like I wasn't doing YouTube properly. And also I had people that were subscribed to the channel that I didn't feel like they should be able to have access to what I was sharing. But I had to get over that, obviously, sharing publicly. And I am totally now. This is a year later. If people want to see what I'm up to, like, that's cool. If people get something from it, that's amazing. So yeah, I'll see how I go. I'm not going to be consistent. I'm just going to share when I feel like sharing, which we've all got our own magic. We've all got to do things our own way. I have had people ask for me to do another event with the me time and sound bowls and energy work. And as much as I love community, I love those events and I love the people that come along and the inspiration that happens. It's just, I'm in a chapter of my life right now where that's just pushing myself like a step too far. You know, this last year of co-parenting, I've been switching Esme 2 days on, 2 days off, sometimes 1 day on, 1 day off, which when you're just 24/7 the only person with a toddler, and then I've got 1 or 2 days to myself, you know, like I'm having to be with myself. It's only just in the last few months that I've changed to a 3-4 schedule. So space is opening up, but now it's summertime and it's Christmas season and it's barbecues and friendships and all that sort of stuff. So this is why when I was in my beautiful $1 million little cave on the hill for the last year and a half, that I think this is why I was really pushed to record the practice and to record the energy work, because I did it like I was so in my space, I was so in my practice, I had been consistently tuning in. I was around ovulation, which again, the half marathon fell literally on ovulation, which for females, that's when you've got everything to succeed, like any hard appointments, conversations, big fitness things, like ovulation is the time to do it. So when I woke up in Queenstown, I was like, my body is ovulating, I'm obviously supposed to do this. I recorded all of this stuff last year when I was ovulating, and also my beautiful camera woman, she was also doing Reiki behind the camera, and as we know, everything is energy. So everything is recorded. If you're feeling called to like surrender deeper into the flow of life and trust more, build trust with yourself, so that things can flow and visions can start to unfurl and unfold, and you can just be present in your life and deeply trust that everything that's happening is happening for you, even and especially when it's really hard. This is you expanding your capacity. Like if you want to get to a space like that, then please do reach out or just go to metime.com. The whole flow is there. If finances are an issue, please just reach out. I've got people that still haven't paid me for the program and they're halfway through it, which this is the thing. I feel like I almost want to say, hey, if you want to do the program, you can have it and you have to pay me at the end, because you'll be the person that is so happy just to have spent and invested money on yourself. But I also understand that often money makes you do something. Like if you put money down, then you're actually going to complete it. And the people that have completed it, like it's so beautiful being around them and their energy and how they're flowing. And people that have done the program, like some haven't, they've not even done me time every single day. They've just fallen asleep to the transmissions, like the sound bowls with the energy work. Because when you're putting intention into something and you're opening yourself and like fully receiving, like when I was running, I had my hands on my hips, actively being like, I love you, I'm grateful, thank you, you're so strong, I've got this, we've already finished this, like this is totally fine. Sure, call me crazy. Speak positively to yourself, just try it, see what happens. It's like, maybe this is crazy, maybe this is intention and it's working, and so far it seems to be working. But if finances are an issue, please do reach out, because I want everyone to be on their highest timeline. Like it's such a beautiful space to live in, and it really does just continue to get better and better. And bringing up my daughter with her saying her prayers before meals and blessing our food and nourishing our body and being in nature and understanding that being barefoot is medicine. Like she's got her favorite tree and named her favorite tree. Like I'm just so excited to watch her grow up and just see her develop into exactly who she came here to be. And that's what I want for everyone. So anyway, wow, nearly an hour. That's amazing. I'm sure there's so much more. So maybe another video will flow sometime soon. But yeah, hopefully something resonated. I'm sure it did. Otherwise you wouldn't still be here. Sending you all so much love and like deep faith in yourself that you can accomplish the visions that you've got, because they're yours for a reason. Much love.